Hmm. You are live. Awesome. Hello, I see one person just joined. Hello, just went live. How are you? I don't know who you are. Hi, Logan. Hello. Hi, guys. I see 3 people in now. How are you all doing tonight? 2,000 subscriber mark, so I thought I'd come and go live for a little bit. Hi, guys. How are you all doing? 14. Wow. Good evening, everyone. How is everybody? 17. This is we hit the 2,000 subscriber milestone, so I thought I would go live on here and just say hello to everybody for a little bit. 22, wow. How is everybody tonight? That's good, Britt, doing well. I'm glad to see that. Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. Normal day, normal life. It was actually pretty warm today. Was able to go skateboarding. Go Titanic. Wait, what, 2,000 subs? How time flies. Yeah, I know, Captain. Hi, Titanic Historian. Hi. Great, good. I took my dog for a walk. Everything was good today. I'm doing well here. Hi, what's up? Hello, hello. Just thought I'd come online for a little bit and answer some questions and see how everybody was doing, and just to take a moment to say thank you to everyone for helping hit the 2,000 mark. It's actually 8 a.m. Are you familiar with the Berengari? I do not know what that is. Is that a ship? You want to see my dog? Okay. I'll go get her in a minute. I did a really good charcoal drawing of the Titanic. Ah, that's cool. 22 people, wow. If y'all want to see my dog, let me go find her. I'll be right back. This may be a little difficult. Hi, guys. Here she is. This is Rosie. Rosie, say hi to everybody. She's a golden retriever. Say hi, Rosie. I think she's wondering what I'm doing. I'm studying to be a vet tech. Ah, I see. Rosie is a mess, let me tell you. She is a 2-year-old child. Thank you, guys. She is a mess. There was when she was a puppy, she would jump into the mud and get covered, and oh, it was a mess. But I love her. You have 7 cats? Wow. I am unfortunately allergic to cats. I mean, not too bad. I just sneeze. Now I have the sniffles. She is so sweet. Are you talking about Rosie Mimsa? I don't know how to say your name. We have 2 black cats. My grandparents have some black cats. Oh, I changed my background picture. This was actually a gift from my sister and her husband. Thank you, Go Titanic. I really appreciate it. Kind of feels good. Do you like Titanic? Well, do I like Titanic? Do I like Titanic? Well, I have a Titanic model right here. I have a Titanic picture right here. I just have a Titanic book right here. I'm not sure if I like Titanic or not. I am not a teacher. I really like history, though, and I've actually thought about it going into that field, but I am currently not a teacher. But I think it would be fun. I do have other interests in history other than Titanic. Just throwing that out there. Just Titanic is what got me into history. My name is Sam. I do not like green eggs and ham. I've always been fascinated with ocean liners. So have I. Now, do you like the? I do like the Aquitania. What little I know about it, I've seen pictures of it. Lusitania, Mauretania, Aquitania, the Cunard fleet. I actually have a model. I have a model right here of the Lusitania. But I do like. I just don't have all of them yet. You definitely should. You are very knowledgeable. Thank you, Brent. I did a full presentation on the Titanic when I was in college. You want the model, Davis Wamsey? What is your second favorite historical topic besides Titanic? I mean, ocean liners in general are a big interest of mine, but a lot of history. I've done a lot of reading. I mentioned before that I did a lot of stuff. I read a lot about Pompeii. The world wars are interesting to me. Depends on whatever I'm interested in at the time. I've been really into the royals lately with the crown. I got to visit Buckingham Palace a few years ago, and that was really cool. The Aquitania is based mostly on Olympic calls. What do you mean, Titanic historian? Keep up the good work, John Turner. Thank you. Get the good work. In my opinion, older ships like the Titanic, this is from FV4005. In my opinion, older ships like the Titanic, Lusitania, Empress of Ireland look better than I completely agree. I visited the Queen Mary a year ago, and it's absolutely beautiful. Did you go to Pompeii? I have not been there yet. The furthest in Europe that I've been, I didn't get down to Italy. I've been to Paris. I visited London for 3 days, and I went to Paris for 3 days. Tyler B, super chat. You guys don't have to do that, but I really appreciate it. Great videos. Your passion is contagious. Thank you, Tyler. I really, really appreciate it, but that is unnecessary, but thank you. Hello, Tommy. What do I think of Cope, Ireland? Is that a town in Ireland? I'm not familiar with that. The RMS Aquitania is the sister ship to the Lusitania and Mauretania. I do know that. The Aquitania was the last one. And I believe it was, correct me, I'm not an expert in the Cunard ships, but I believe the Aquitania was one of the last 4-stack liners that was retired. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the Aquitania was retired until the 40s or 50s. I could be wrong, though. I like old ships from 1901 to 1920, Davis Wamsey. Yeah, I do too. Davis, are you familiar with the RMS Atlantic or the Big Four? The Big Four ships? There is this is from Drew Doherty. There is a Titanic 2 being built. Would you go on it if it sets sail? I have mixed feelings on them building another Titanic. I mean, I feel like they're just trying to capitalize on Titanic's fame a little bit, but I mean, it'd be cool to see, but I guess it just depends on the situation and how accurate it was. Koba was Queenstown back in the day. Titanic's. Oh, okay. That's cool. Hello, love your content. Shoo. Okay. Arrow flies. I'm also interested in the world wars for about 2 days because I just watched the movie Greyhound. Oh, warships are pretty cool. Yeah. My grandfather's brother was actually out at sea in the Pacific in the Second World War. I think the Olympic and Aquitania should have been converted into floating hotels like the Queen Mary. Well, actually, the Olympic was supposed to be turned into a hotel. They were trying to save her. They just couldn't get the money. And you've got to think ocean liners like Titanic or Lusitania, they're very popular with us now. But, back in the 1910, 2030s, ocean liners were no different to the people than an airplane or a train is to us now. I mean, now trains are popular, the Santa Fe Super Chief and stuff. There are trains we want to save, but people didn't think of ships the exact same way that we do now. I'm really glad the Queen Mary's still around. Hello, Steve. If Titanic 2 was built, no, I'm not going on it because the first one sank. Yeah. I'm really interested in the American Civil War. Yeah, I don't know a lot about the Civil War. I know some of the big things. I actually got to see the Civil War submarine, the Hunley, when I was a kid. Do you think there was another ship next to Titanic? Are you talking about the mystery ship that's talked about to be the California? Is that what you're talking about? Do you think there was another ship next to Titanic? Some say it was Norwegian boat Samson, but I don't know what to really think about it. I believe it was the Californian, but that is a highly debated topic. But I think it was the steamship the Californian. Why is the stern of a ship referred to as the poop deck? I actually do not know that. That's actually a good question. I should Google that. Okay, let's pretend Titanic 2 was built. Would you be annoyed when the people did the I'm flying? I'm pretty sure. Would you be annoyed if people did the I'm flying jack every few minutes? I'm pretty sure they would actually block the bow so people couldn't do that. I know this from Brent. I know this may be a controversial subject, but I believe in raising artifacts from the ship before it's completely gone. Have you ever thought about doing? Are you saying you agree with them raising artifacts from the Titanic? Is that what I'm? Anyone know where the barber shop was on the Titanic? I do not know that. I believe it was on B or C deck, though. I could be wrong. Anyone know? Okay. Dave Wamsey. I like World War I because the ships are cool. They are very cool. Davis, you should read up. I have a book here somewhere called Dead Wake. It's all about the last crossing of the Lusitania, and it goes into the warfare of how the British and the Germans fought. It's very, very interesting. I believe it was President Wilson. I think he was. I could look that up real quick. Don't quote me on that. The Olympic class ships were really great at hitting things. Okay, so the Olympic class are really good at hitting things. We've got the Titanic hitting an iceberg, the Britannic hit a mine, but the Olympic actually hit a submarine and actually sank her. So the Olympic was called Old Reliable for a good reason. From Steve Ferguson, I also agree with raising objects for personal clothes. I think it's like I said, I used to really agree with. I was okay with them raising artifacts from the ocean floor around the wreck as long as they didn't go into it. But the Titanic is in such a rapid state of decay that I've kind of changed my opinion on them pulling up artifacts. Drew is, what are you going to do after COVID-19 is over? Get to traveling again. I really, really want to visit Japan. Titanic historian. Willen, what are you saying? Willen? Dave Owens, I wish old ocean liners was sailing. Yeah, I saw that. Was it Norwegian or one of the cruise line companies was wanting to buy the SS United States, but they backed out because it was too expensive. I'd love if they would restore that ship. Eventually, could you do a video on the meals that were served on Titanic? I'd have to research that, Himes, or Hims. I don't know how to say your name. I'd have to research that, but Titanic in Honor and Glory has a really, really good video on it. They did it at the Grand Hotel in Mackinac. On the raising objects subject, I was in Las Vegas and saw a big piece that might be oh, you're talking about the hull, right? The big piece of steel that they raised. That would be a really, really good video because they had a time bringing that up. Where did you get the poster behind you? That is random. This was actually a gift from my sister and her husband for Christmas. It's kind of like an Art Deco-y Titanic thing. It's really cool. Would you visit the wreck of the Titanic if you could? Absolutely. I would absolutely visit the wreck of the Titanic. Speaking of Japan, will you do a video talking about the Yamato's construction? I've never actually looked into the construction of the Yamatos, but I do know about them. That would be really, really interesting. This is from Tyler. I've often said little is mentioned in Titanic historical fiction about second class. Would enjoy a video dedicated to what life was like for those. That is a really good idea, Tyler. I am going to make a note of that right now. What life was like for second class passengers. Thank you. I'm putting your name in here as well, so I know to give you a shout out, Tyler. Thank you very much. That is in my list of video ideas now. Thank you, Tyler. Where did you get the model of Titanic from, Davis? Are you talking about this one right here? Is this what you're talking about? Yes, it's a really interesting story. Yes, let's see. I bought this from the Titanic Honor and Glory store. These are the custom 3D printed models that they do on their store. I've got 3 models from them. I've got Titanic, which is it's okay. It's really good model. I've got Titanic. I've got Lusitania. This is also from them. And I've got the HMHS Britannic. I bought all of these ships from Titanic Honor and Glory. The Titanic one is in a little bit rough shape because where I handle it all the time in my videos, I broke the mast towers, unfortunately, so they don't go in right anymore. But yeah, they're really, really cool. Britannic was this one here. I mean, the detail on this, they got the cranes on it. I mean, seriously, the team at Titanic Honor and Glory nailed these ships as far as the detail goes. I hate it that I damaged Titanic. I really hate that. This is from Britt. Can you do a video on, oh wait, hang on. I got a super chat from Govid98. Can you do a video on Chief Officer Henry Wild? That is a really good idea. I'm going to put that into my list as well. Thank you, Govid. And thank you for the super chat. Okay, I'm going to save your name to video on officer. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. COVID-98 copy. Paste. All right, thank you. I cannot remember the name of the composer, but a well-known, this is from Brent, an opera of his was lost on the so somebody had an opera. Like, are you talking about like a custom song that was on the ship? I haven't heard about that. From Memer, can you make a video explaining about how exactly the Titanic hit the iceberg? So are you talking about the actual impact itself, or are you talking about the events leading up to the collision? Because I thought about making a video on a series of mistakes, like from the wireless operators who, the ice warnings to just all the little things that led up to the iceberg impact. Is that kind of what you're saying? What are your thoughts on the Oceanic 3 that was going to be built until it got changed to Britannic? Oceanic 3, is that a later ship? I'm not familiar with a lot of the later ships, and I know there was a Britannic later on, not the 4-stack one of the Olympic class, but I do not know that much about those. I'm assuming it was around during the Normandy and the Queen Mary time. If I don't know for sure, it might have been a 50 ship. I suggest a video about the MV William Gustloff. I know that I don't know how much there's. The William Gustloff is very, very interesting. FV4005. I am going to do a video on that. What Davis again? What ships do you like? White Star Lines. Mine is. So are you asking like what are my favorite ships in the White Star Line? I've got a cough today. I like the big 4 ships: the Baltic, the Adriatic, the Celtic, and the Cedric. I think I got all those right. Britannic is really good. Of course, Titanic has a special place in my heart. In the background, is that Titanic in some kind of canard look? Yes. I have to keep showing this. This is like an Art Deco Titanic poster. It's not 100% accurate to the ship, but it's got a really cool style to it. And my sister and her husband gave me this for Christmas. Meemza, I really enjoy your videos. Thank you. Aeroflies, could you do a video on the general photography of the Titanic ship? Like if there was a possibility of any photos were taken at sea or during the sinking but were lost. So like, are you talking about like do a log of all the photos that were taken and talk about some of the other possible ones? Or I don't really understand exactly what you're asking. Like just talk about the photos. Lisa D. Hey, Lisa. Someone wants to go get the wireless radio for the museum. What are your thoughts? I'm talking a lot. I'm getting a dry throat. I really think I don't really care too much if they get the radio. I actually think they should. My opinion on retrieving artifacts from the Titanic has changed due to the fact that the ship is in a rapid state of decay. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but during the last dive, the captain's bathtub, the captain's room, that whole section of the ship is collapsed, where that was one of the more preserved rooms. You could still see the piping and everything in that room. So, I mean, if we don't recover stuff, we're going to lose it eventually. And speaking of recovering artifacts from the Titanic, that is one scene that has always bothered me with the James Cameron movie. How did they get Rose's safe out of her room and up to the surface? Like, how did they get it out of the Titanic? I've always wondered that. I mean, that robot had a hard enough time moving that door out of the way. How did they get the safe out? How did the Lucid from Joe Boss? How did the Lusitania list so quick? Well, that's a matter of debate and depends on who you were talking to. But I honestly believe that the Lusitania was carrying weapons. So when the torpedo hit the Lusitania, the weapons on board detonated and caused the Lusitania to list. Because there was a secondary explosion on the Lusitania briefly after the torpedo hit. Let's see. What is your favorite character in the Titanic movie by James Cameron? Oh, gosh. That is from Drew. I really like how James Cameron goes above and beyond to try to get the characters right. Probably Molly Brown if I had to pick one. Molly Brown's really good. I really like Fabrizio too. Pumpkin Nugget. What is your opinion on Titanic 2 when it sets sail? I get asked that a lot. If it sets sail, which I'm highly skeptical on. The Titanic 2 was announced when I was in college, like 2012, 2013 is when I first heard about it. So I'm very skeptical if it'll actually ever be completed, but I have mixed feelings on it. You got to remember, guys, the Titanic was it's a very small ship compared to modern day ships. The Queen Mary's bigger. Bro, you have from Battle Gamer Army. Bro, you had to play a Titanic VR. It's a very good game. Like Titanic VR. Are you talking about the sinking, like where you're in the submarine and you're exploring the wreck? Is that what you're talking about? From Memer, how many more years? From Watson, how many more years will the Titanic last? I think a big chunk of it will always be there for a while, but I think the shape will be more or less gone in the next 50 years or so. That's just a guess. Anthony, do you work as a historian? I do not. It is just a passion of mine. Are you scared the Titanic 2 might repeat history? I doubt it. We have a lot better technology, but I mean, if you're talking about maritime, it's actually bad luck to name a ship after one that sunk. How long was the Titanic? 800 and something feet. I forget exactly. The ammunition in the Lusitania are still visible. So they can see into the weapons hold. I did hear a rumor with the Lusitania, the Dev. I did hear a rumor that in the 30s, some people saw the British shooting rounds and bombs down on the wreck to destroy it. It's like they were trying to cover up evidence. I have heard that they found British munitions from the 20s and 30s, I think, but I didn't know they actually found weapons inside the Lusitania. That'd be really hard considering how collapsed the ship is. Do a video on the SS Atlantic. Are you talking about the White Star Line's first real disaster, Davis, the one the Titanic Honor and Glory talked about? Let's see. I think it's fascinating from Govind. I think it's fascinating how the Titanic took 2 hours from us, yet still had less survivors than Lusitania. Didn't the Lusitania have in the 700 range of survivors, similar to Titanic? I need to look that up. I do not know how many people survived the Lusitania. I'm actually really, really curious now. Uh, 761 survivors. You're right. There were 761 survivors on the Lusitania. I think that had to do with the fact that the water was warmer, because that water was just brutal. Do you think White Star Line will ever return? From Reset Vlogs. In a way, they're still around. And, you know, they merged with Cunard. So, in a way, they're still around. I think Cunard's owned by Carnival. I think they are. Anthony, why is the Lusitania in such bad shape compared to the Titanic? Because the British bombed it, supposedly. There's a YouTuber called Yamato30 Dev. He goes over the Lusitania in huge detail, and he's proven people wrong. What are you talking about as far as them detonating bombs, or in what area is he proving them wrong? Lisa D, I think the White Star Line is still active, isn't it? No, not. I mean, it's part of Cunard, but. Margo, hey, you're that Titanic guy. I am that Titanic guy. Tornado Harry, hello. Tornado, I really like your picture, the black hole. I spent some time working on a copper mine in Arizona, and I was really close to one of the observatories they used to take a picture of that. That black hole was really cool. Margot, nice to meet you. I like a few of your videos. Thank you. Meme, do you believe in the Titanic switch theory? I do not. The Titanic switch theory has a lot of problems. And number one, they say it was for the insurance money, while the Titanic was not insured for the full amount of the ship. That's an easy way to disprove it. And there's 1,000 other ways as well. Drew, why is the Titanic wreck is different than it was in 1912? What do you mean? Are you talking about the decay of the wreck? Margot, what is the Titanic switch theory? It's a conspiracy. A conspiracy came up a while back that says that the Titanic and the Olympic were switched. They just try to say that the White Star Line did that after the Olympic had a collision with a Royal Navy ship called the Hawk. They like to say that the Olympic and the Titanic were swapped so that they swapped the Olympic for the Titanic and basically changed the name. And the Olympic is the one that sunk, not Titanic, so they could claim the insurance money and all that. But that doesn't make sense. There's so many problems with that. I could talk about that forever. Rob T, good evening. Few questions. Is the Grand Staircase still in the Britannic? I do not know. That would be very interesting to look into. Can the Titanic stern be explored, or is she too smashed in? I believe the stern is really smashed. During the last dive, they said it was mostly gone, just a bunch of metal. I think the engines are still there, though. The engines are still visible. Anthony, wouldn't the Titanic wreck have looked amazing if we could see it back in 1912? Yes, it would have. Titanic historian, I think the Titanic is in better shape than Lusitania because the Titanic is... well, Titanic historian, it's like I said, I believe the British bombed the Lusitania because look at the... compare the Lusitania wreck to the Britannic. I mean, the Britannic is in 400 feet water, and it's incredibly well preserved, and the Lusitania is just this big pile of metal on the seafloor. And the Titanic, it's in a very hostile environment. The ground down there is acidic, I believe. When was the last dive to Titanic? Reset vlogs, I believe 2 or 3 years ago. Rob T, thanks. Love the info on your channel. Thank you. If you were on board the Titanic, this is from Show. If you were on board the Titanic during the final plunge, would you try to stay on the ship as long as possible or just jump into the water? I would stay on the ship as long as possible if I had the knowledge that I do now. I don't know how true this is, but it's something that I remember reading in passing that the life jackets on the Titanic, they didn't if you jumped into the ocean from a certain depth, from a certain height, like from the top of the ship, they didn't handle the impact with the water very well. Like the life jackets wouldn't go under and gently come up. They would actually like stop. They wouldn't submerge very well. And it actually hurt a lot of people who jumped from the ship and into the ocean. That's something I heard. I haven't verified it, but I've heard those life jackets weren't the best. I mean, they were good for keeping you afloat, but they weren't good for dealing with a giant fall. What do you think the second explosion was? I believe it was weapons. Drew Doty, what happened to the bodies from the Titanic after they sank? I believe that either the pressure ruined them, fish probably got to them. A lot of things happened. Chris Stetson broke their necks, possibly. Chris Stetson, are you talking about the life jackets? Chris Morrill, how's it going? It is going well. How are you? Historic Travels, do you think the Britannic could be raised? It's really well preserved. I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry, I'm coughing. Well, when you're talking about raising the Britannic, think about the Costa Concordia and how much of a job it was to raise it, and it was right on the shore. Typically, the Britannic is currently the largest ship on the seafloor, so in order to raise it, I don't know how you would do it. I've heard theories of like freezing the ocean inside of it and making the ice lift it up, but I don't know how practical that is. I think the best way you could do it would be to cut the ship up and bring it up a piece at a time, but that doesn't seem practical to me. I have not been to the Olympic Suite at the Swan Hotel. I do want to see those rooms, though. If you had the power to save one ship, would you say Britannic or Titanic? Oh, Titanic, absolutely. Britannic had around 30 people die, where Titanic had 1,500 people die. Save the Titanic from sinking and save all those people. That's a no-brainer. After covering all the themes of the Titanic, will you cover the William Gustloff? Yes, I am going to cover the William Gustloff at some point. What was the flag on the back of the Titanic? That's actually debated, and I'm actually not sure. Was it American or British? I'm not sure. That's actually talking about the flag on the back of the Titanic is, I think, unless somebody out in the chat knows for sure, I figured it was similar to the whole 3-blade or 4-blade propeller theory. Fox Starline, Titanic sadly is too weak to raise. I completely agree. Anthony, did you have to be British to work on Titanic? I do not know that, but I would imagine there was some kind of visa thing, but I could be wrong. Chris Moore, I'm good. I was just wondering why the Titanic broke and the Britannic didn't. I believe that had to do with the way that they sank, because the Britannic was very much on its side. That's very complicated. We could debate that. Tommy, maybe you could do a video on other White Star Line financial situation after Titanic sunk. I do know that while the Titanic disaster was terrible, both in loss of life and financially for White Star Line, I believe White Star Line had a pretty good year in 1912. Thomas Brooks, I always heard the flag on the stern was the country flag where it was leaving from. That reminds me of ships today. Like if you go to Port Canaveral, a lot of the ships there say that their home port is Nassau, because that way they pay Bahama rates and taxes. Reset Blah, Historic Travels, do you think Titanic 2 will ever be built? I am highly skeptical. Lauren Grant, are you going to go on Titanic 2, or would you like to? Mixed feelings about it. Hang on a second, guys. I'm going to get it better for my throat. Do you think the Olympics grand staircase looked better before or after her renovation? I think they both look good personally. I haven't seen a lot of photos of after the renovation, but I have an idea of what you're talking about. Martin, do you feel bad for Captain Smith having to die with the ship when he was just about to retire and live with? That was really, really sad. Captain Smith's death, well, all the deaths on Titanic were sad, but Captain Smith, I put Captain Smith in the same category as Isidore and Ida Strauss. I mean, think about this couple. They've been together for their whole life, and they offer Ida the chance to get into a lifeboat, but she stays with her husband. I mean, that is just one of the saddest stories. That scene in if you don't know, in the Titanic film, James Cameron never explains who they are, but Isidore and Ida are that elderly couple during Near My God to Thee that are in their room when the room is flooding. That isn't accurate to the sinking, but that's who he was portraying. He just didn't explain in the movie. Isidore and Ida have a really, really sad story. The gantry davits on Britannic are great, but why were they not on the Olympic after the Titanic sank? Because they had to custom make them. They did some major design changes to Britannic after the Titanic disaster. I keep getting texts. Anthony, had the Olympic been saved in the 30s, what would her life be like? She'd be a floating hotel, similar to Queen Mary. At least I hope she would be. The two ships from the Golden Age, Queen Mary, I believe, is the oldest. The SS United States is still around, but it's just a rusting piece of metal. It's really sad what happened to the SS United States. Historic Travels. If you could explore Titanic 2, yes, I would. I would go check it out if I had the chance. The Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge is amazing. James, do you know about the Estonia? I do. The Estonia was that ferry, the car ferry that capsized, right? 67 people are watching. Wow. Hey, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. Was William Murdoch ever behind the wheel of the Titanic? I do not know that. I know Quartermaster Hitchens was at the wheel the night of the collision, but I do not know if he ever drove. Excuse me. Hi, Lisa. I see you. Chaser, would you visit the rec site if you could? I would. Your editing is so from Frisa. Your editing is so cool. You make me learn more than any other channel. Thank you. I do my best to do my editing to make it fun and interesting and just try to. I'm trying to bring the real story of the Titanic and tell it as accurately as possible. I try to be as accurate and fun as possible. Did you all like my my space Titanic joke? The spaceship Titanic. That's a great music video, by the way. You need to look that up. Is there a Britannic museum? I know they have some items from the Britannic. Tommy, was there a millionaire lifeboat? Apparently, a bunch of first class passengers paid the crew. Oh, Tommy, I know what you're talking about. Tommy, wait, where'd you go? I completely. There you are, Tommy. What you're talking about, the millionaire lifeboat? I forget the passenger's name, but the way that the ships worked at the time. So when a ship goes down, the people on board, the officers stop getting paid. That's horrible, but that's what they were doing. And there were these people, these really rich people, and there were some officers on board, and they were telling the passenger that they stopped getting paid, and the passengers on the lifeboat tipped them. They gave them a little bit of money. Just, we're sorry, you're not getting paid, so here's a little bit of money, and just to kind of help you out. Anyway, the media ran with it. You know, the media went nuts with it, saying that they were people who bribed the Titanic's officers to stay away. It wasn't that they were paying them to stay away from passengers. It was just these people felt bad for these officers because they weren't getting paid. It was a really, really messed up situation. I forget the name of the passengers, though. Is this Hannah Montana? Oh, gosh, Hannah Montana. I haven't thought about that in 10 years. First, I recommend the channel Water Worlds. He makes a lot of videos about Titanic too. Okay, I'll look into that. Matthew, if you had a chance to be on Titanic, what events in the sinking would you like to see? Well, the sinking in general is pretty rough. The sinking's interesting, but I think I'd be pretty terrified if I was actually there. Why did Lusitania sink so fast from Nezos? Because it was carrying weapons and it got torpedoed. Thomas, I like the poster. Everybody likes the poster. I'll show it off again. Everybody likes the Titanic poster. Thank my sister. Captain Alex, would you think that the Olympic 2 would be a great idea to build? I mean, it'd be interesting, but I think most people would think of it, if they built another Olympic, it would just be like the Titanic. Like, think about it. If you're not familiar with ships, if you take a look at the Lusitania and you take a look at the Titanic, I mean, to people who know what the Titanic is, sure, we know the difference. But to people who don't really know ships, Lusitania, they may think Lusitania is Titanic. So if they saw a Lusitania ship, or I'm sorry, if they saw an Olympic ship, they would probably just think it's Titanic. 111 people, wow. Oh, hey, we got a super chat from Britt Novak. Thank you. In your opinion, what is the coolest artifact from the wreck, and why do you like it? Oh, you know what? Okay, my favorite artifact. I forget the guy's name, but it was the yachtsman that the only male passenger that Lightoller let off of the Titanic when it was sinking. Anyway, Lightoller, the story is, as the lifeboat was getting lowered away, they realized that the lifeboat only had one crewman in it. So Lightoller let one male passenger go down because he can man a lifeboat. When he was going down the rope to get to the lifeboat, his wallet fell out of his pocket and went to the seafloor. Like he dropped his wallet and it went to the bottom. So his wallet went down before the ship did. And then when they were recovering artifacts, they found his wallet. I mean, that just blew my mind. So his wallet fell out before the ship even sank, and they found his wallet in the Titanic's debris field. That is just the ultimate case of lost and found. Let's see. Cope Guy, howdy from Australia. Hello, welcome. Howdy from Western Virginia, or West Virginia. What if the Queen Elizabeth never sank from Reset? Are you talking about the Queen Elizabeth that was in Hong Kong, the sister ship to the Queen Mary? Another super chat from Graham Knight. Thank you. You probably have more information about the Titanic than any other channel. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I'm trying to accurately tell the story about the Titanic as best I can. 123 people. Wow. 118. Wow. Would you buy a ticket on the Titanic if it was rebuilt? I don't like the idea of them rebuilding the Titanic. I really don't. Let's see. Hello. Okay, these comments coming in. Nintendo, are you a sailor? I am not. Cheser, what do you think happened to her ship's logbook? Are you talking about the Titanic, the Californian? What are you talking about? Wait, hang on. I saw a really interesting question. The bright side, have you any interest in the Great Lakes shipwrecks, like the Edmund Fitzgerald? Yes, I don't know a lot about the Great Lakes shipwrecks, but I do know about the Edmund Fitzgerald. I love the song. The legend is over, the chip of on down. Anyway, that's as much singing as y'all are going to get on here. But I really, really do like the Edmund Fitzgerald. It's very, very interesting. Lisa D, gotta go. All right, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Britannic Man, the second explosion of Lusitania was caused by coal. I've heard that too. But could coal? I'm not an expert in coal dust or anything like that. Can the coal dust detonation really cause that kind of damage? But I have heard that that is a popular debate between weapons and coal dust. Thank you for my singing. I do not sing. Just saying. LBM, can you sing? No. What is your opinion on Titanic HG? Are you talking about Honor and Glory? They're amazing. Is this the guy from the 70s show? That's hilarious. I need to watch that. I really do need to watch the 70s show. I remember from Drew, I remember you made a video about the Anastasia on the Titanic. Can you explain to me about that? You're talking about Lorraine Allison. She was the only first-class child to die in the sinking, and it's theorized. Lorraine Allison, guys, I gotta tell this story real quick. So when you look at the Titanic, there's two lifeboats on the top. There's collapsible A and B. They're the two lifeboats right by the first funnel, and they were the two boats that didn't get launched from the Titanic. They essentially got floated. They had to float off. So it's theorized that Lorraine Allison was on one of those lifeboats. She was the only first-class child to die in the sinking. Essentially what happened was when the family started to evacuate, they had a baby, an infant baby, and the baby was taken by the nanny. And the nanny got into a lifeboat immediately without the parents knowing what happened to the baby. So throughout the entire sinking, the parents were frantically searching for this baby with their daughter, never thinking it made it straight to a lifeboat. And by the time they're like, okay, we've got to save our daughter, all the lifeboats were gone. So only ones left were collapsible A and B, and the Titanic was in her final plunges. So it's theorized they might have made it to collapsible A. We don't know for sure. But Lorraine Allison was the only first-class child to die in the sinking. And anyway, 10, 20 years later, a woman showed up claiming to be the relative of Lorraine Allison. That's the short version of that video. Sorry if I missed all your questions. That was kind of a long explanation. LBM, do you teach kids? Because you know I do not. I did volunteer, and I did volunteer with a group called Big Brother Big Sister, and I am with a program called World Vision where you sponsor children in other countries. I do that. I have a sponsored child in Bolivia and Vietnam. I have two. So like I donate money each month to their families. Reset. What was the question? The original Queen Elizabeth. Wait, what was the question? I forgot. Eva, do you think that people inside the Titanic's do you think there were people inside the grand staircase? Possibly. I know the windows were breaking like crazy, Eva. Do you think people were inside the grand staircase when it broke? I hate to think that they were, but there probably were. Brent Davidson, what did you study in college? Criminal justice and homeland security and cybersecurity. Nothing to do with history. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the 2012 sinking theory? Are you talking about the theory from James Cameron? Do you think that the Queen Mary is haunted? I'm a little skeptical on that stuff, but I think it's fun and interesting. Is the Queen Mary haunted? I really do. I had fun on board. I spent the night on the ship. I spent the night completely by myself and walked around the ship at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't see a thing. But it's still fun. I did have a weird. I did hear a weird sound in the engine room, though. I put a video up on YouTube about that. It's on my channel. Do you believe in? Well, you say I ghosts, but in ghosts. I'm open minded. I do Titanic historian. I do watch Sam and Colby's videos. If anybody have you guys heard of Sam and Colby? They do a lot of ghost video challenges on YouTube. Margot, you were on the Queen Mary. Did you have any experiences? Did you see Jackie? What if the reset? What if the original Queen Elizabeth? I don't know anything about the original Queen Elizabeth. The only one that I know about is the one that sailed alongside the Queen Mary. Can you show me, please? Funny Kids Gang, what do you want me to show you? I've been live 46 minutes. We'll probably wrap up the stream, guys, when we get to about 1 hour. When we get to the 1 hour mark, I'll probably start wrapping up the stream. 145 people. Wow. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Reset vlog. The one that sunk in Hong Kong. That's the sister ship to the Queen Mary. Yeah, the Queen Elizabeth. That's the sister ship to the Queen Mary. It was retired, and they were going to use it as like a floating university in Hong Kong, and it caught fire. IronTube, I want to say your channel is a great piece of information. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Jake Orr, did they ever recover the statue from the Grand Staircase? I do not believe so. I hear somebody. If y'all want, give me a second. Let me find. I hear Rosie. I'll show y'all Rosie. Hi, everybody. So this is Rosie. Rosie, say hi to everybody. She wants a treat. Rosie is a mess. Oh, thank you. Rosie is a cute baby. She's a golden retriever. Do you think it would have been restored and eventually brought the Queen Elizabeth? Possibly, but I believe they sold it to Hong Kong, didn't they? Let's see. Holy crap, these questions are coming in so fast. Okay, guys, hang on. I'm trying to read these. Every time I start to read a question, it jumps on. Jake, I visited the Queen Mary, and I heard that there was Germans or slaves on it. What, on the Queen Mary? I don't know. I've never heard that. That doesn't make sense to me. Why would there be German slaves on the Queen Mary? Anthony, do you like the British Empire? Are you talking about like the United Kingdom, the royals and stuff like that? Is that what you're talking about? I think Winston Churchill was one of the greatest heroes of all time. Oh, I missed the super chat? Oh, shoot. I missed the super chat. Did it pop up when I... let's see. Oh, shoot. Let me go back. There was a super chat and I missed it. Oh. The 80s Geek. I'm sorry. I guess you sent that in when I was looking for Rosie. I don't know if you saw my comment earlier, but I want to be earlier posts, but I would love to see you do something on the Hindenburg, plus on Herb Morrison. Okay. That's interesting. I do want to do something on the Hindenburg, and I'll do something on Herb too. That's interesting. And thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I found it. Thanks, guys, for letting me know. I did not see it. Did it come in while I was looking for Rosie? Howdy, historic ocean liners. I'm just talking about random things. I'm answering questions. Destin, 127 people. Wow. Super chat, LBM. Jake, if the Titanic sank more recently, do you think they could recover? It depends on where it sank. I mean, take a look at the Costa Concordia. Look how hard it was for them to bring that ship up, and it was right on the coastline. Funny Kids Gang, how did you get that many subscribers? Honestly, man, the amount of growth that this channel has gone through is absolutely unbelievable to me. And everybody who's been subscribing to my channel, seriously, guys, I cannot thank you enough. I mean, just I make videos for fun. I make videos for fun and just to see how everything goes, and just the channel just grew from there. But I just do it because it's fun. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Do you think the MS Estonia should be raised? It's a grave site, so yeah, please stop spamming the chat, please. Thank you, John. What was the original color scheme of the Lusitania's funnels? I believe they were like this. I believe that this was the color of the original. I believe they based this model on the original Lusitania as in 1906. Who is your favorite YouTuber? LBM. Well, that's hard. There's a lot of good YouTubers. I really like the tech YouTubers. MKBHD, Linus Tech Tips. I really like their stuff. Austin Evans is really good. Marcus. Hi, Sam. Hi, Marcus. Do you think the Titanic Iron Glory? Yes, I do. It'll take a while, but I do think it's good. Do you think Titanic should be part of Disney Plus? I don't have a problem with that. Did the Titanic sink faster when the funnels collapsed? Yeah. I mean, any opening you've got in the ship would have caused the Titanic to sink a little bit quicker, but how much is open for debate. I mean, you're not talking about a huge amount of time. I joined your channel a few days ago. I can't stop being addicted. Thank you. I really appreciate it. We're going to wrap up the stream, guys, in probably the next 7 to 10 minutes. Help you manage your way into recommended and help you get to 100K. Thank you, guys. What is your favorite ship that isn't from the Olympic class? The Queen Mary. The Queen Mary, definitely. And if you're talking about modern day ships, I really like the Disney ships. I've been on a couple of Disney cruises. I was, ironically enough, this is just a story from 2017, that me and my sister were on the Disney ship, and the harbor pilot who was docking us in the Bahamas made a mistake, and the Disney ship slammed into the pier and put a big gash in the back of the ship. That was pretty insane. Where did all the pieces from the Grand Staircase end up? Did they just decay over time? Well, I think the Grand Staircase, I was made aware of another theory after I made the video. So I think the Grand Staircase partially broke up and is inside the ship. And I think the top sections floated up. I think it was a combination of the two. I think parts remained in the ship and parts floated up. Brett, were you on the Disney Dream when it hit the were you on the Disney Dream when it hit the pier? Seriously? How long did it take to build the Grand Staircase? I am not sure. I know they were doing it when they were decorating the Titanic. I hate the look of modern cruise ships. Yeah, I mean, with modern cruise ships, they don't really care about how the ships look. They just want to fit as many people on. I mean, they want to look good, but hang on a second. That's one thing that I like about the Disney ships. Even though they're very modern, they actually have the appearance of the old school ships. Like if you look at the Queen Mary, it still has the two funnel look and everything. So it looks like the old ships of old. I really, really admire that. I don't believe the Titanic had a yellow stripe on it, but I could be wrong. Maybe, actually, yes, it did. I can see it right here on the model. Have you ever been on a famous crash ship? No. Do you think that due to air pockets after the splitting, would have the stern stayed? Like, are you talking about could the stern have like bobbed up and down a little bit like it did in the James Cameron movie? Britt, I used to live in Orlando. I worked for Disney for 10 years. I've been on the Wonder twice and the Dream once. Oh, that's cool. I live around the port from the corner from Southampton. That's awesome. Where did you get the ship? What ship? Are you talking about this? John, thank you for subscribing. I really, really appreciate it. I like the breakup theory that the aft expansion joint fell. I don't think the expansion joints had a big deal with the breakup. That's just a theory. I think that it had something to do with the first funnel, but I don't think it caused the ship to break in two. What happened to the Titanic's wood steering wheel? I actually think the bridge got ripped away when the Titanic was going down, and if the wheel didn't get ripped off on the initial descent, it just decayed over time. I hope you get more subs. Thank you. There you are, Mega. Yeah, I see you. This ship, they sell these on the actual Disney ship. So when you go on a cruise, you can buy these in the gift shop. That's where I got this. Have you heard of the SS Jupiter from Titanic Storm? I feel like I have heard the name, but I don't know what it is. All right, guys, 5 more minutes and I'm going to wrap up the stream. Hey, from Scotland again. Nice to see you. LBM, love your channel. Good luck. Thank you. Tube, I was told the reason the stern floated so long was because all the sealed cold storage. I think they just imploded. I don't think the cold storage would have actually held the ship up for that long. Captain Alex, don't go yet. I want to ask the possible to raise the Britannia. If you could find the masts, I'm sure you could, but I imagine they're gone. Arrow, you should make a video on the parts and mechanics of the bridge. Some people don't know about. Are you talking about like how the telemotors worked, how the ship's wheel, all that stuff? Are you talking about how all that worked? John, can you please make another live stream soon? I will do another live stream before too much longer. I'm in the Disney World Friendship. What's that mean? Did you hear the horn on Disney Ship? Yeah, how it played all the songs. Should they raise a propeller from Titanic or Britannic? I don't know. I mean, it'd be cool if they did, but they probably could, but I don't know if they should. This is fun. Hello, blah, blah. I like your name, and I like your picture as well. Boss HQ, what was that place where you took the picture of the Titanic from? It looks awesome. Are you talking about Boss? Are you talking about the picture behind me? Paul, what is the difference between no binoculars and with binoculars and Titanic? I actually don't think binoculars would have helped that much because, I mean, it's night. You can't see anything. There's no moon. If I was a lookout, I would have been looking with the naked eye. I don't know how they would with Titanic. They'd have to be super careful. Yeah, with the propeller and the pressure, I don't know how that would do. John, are you going to make another video soon? Yes, I will. I try to make a video every couple of days. But making a video it's a process. It's about a full day project to make a video. Quick question, would you jump into a lifeboat if you were offered a chance when there are women and children around, or would you stay? I would stay on the ship, no question. I would not take a place in a lifeboat. I would try to build a raft or something out of deck chairs and wood. Let's see. Davis, I do not know how to pronounce your last name. My great grandma. My great grandma knew Thomas Andrews. That's crazy. Mm. Yeah, binoculars make your field of vision much narrower and much darker because less light reaches your eyes. That's true. That is very true. Because they only saw the iceberg because it looked like a black mass coming out of the night. All right, guys. Well, we've hit the 1 hour mark. I'll answer one more question, then I'm gonna call it here, guys. Okay, leaving the stream. All right, bye. I'm looking for one more question, and then I'm gonna head out, guys. Let me see something I might have missed. What if there was all right, from Drew? What if there was a 4th Olympic class ship? That'd be cool. I mean, there's not really anything to say about it. Just it'd be cool if there was a 4th ship. I used to work on a river cargo ship that was built in 1901. That's really cool. That is really, really cool, Marcus. All right, everybody. I'm going to head out for tonight. Thank you all for coming in, and thank you all for helping me hit the 2,000 subscriber mark. I really, really appreciate it, guys. And thank you all for tuning in. We have 101 people in here. Everybody, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening.